Who will come out on top in the Palestine-Israel conflict? Is Hezbollah stepping into the conflict? What is going on? And what is next? Join us as we delve deep into the current state of the Palestine-Israel conflict and explore the recent developments, key players, and what lies on the horizon. Stay tuned until the end for crucial insights that will help you understand the reasons behind the deadly conflict and its potential impact on the region and global stage. So let's dive in. On October 7, 2023, a significant escalation occurred in the Israeli-Palestine conflict. The Palestinian armed group Hamas initiated Operation Al-Aqsa Flood against Israel. This event marks the most serious escalation since the 11-day war between Israel and Hamas in 2021. Hamas claimed to have fired a staggering 5,000 rockets into Israel, alongside sending fighters into Israeli territory. These attacks occurred during the holiday of Simchat Torah, part of the week-long Jewish festival known as Sukkot. The rocket attacks reached as far north as Tel Aviv, and there are reports of clashes and gunfights in several cities. Hamas fighters reported to have taken control of multiple Israeli civilian population centers. In response to the deadly attacks, Israel's military has also launched a series of air raids on Gaza. Dozens of fighter jets are striking a number of targets belonging to Hamas, including some famous buildings like Gaza Tower. Casualties are significant on both sides. Over 198 Palestinians have lost their lives, and more than 1,600 are reported injured. Meanwhile, Israel reported at least 100 Israelis killed and 1,000 wounded in Hamas attacks. Hamas asserts that their military operation is a response to decades of atrocities against Palestinians, including actions in Gaza and at holy sites like Al-Aqsa Mosque. They've called for international intervention, framing it as the greatest battle to end the last occupation on earth. On the other hand, the Israeli government has cautioned citizens near Gaza to stay in their homes or shelters. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has accused Hamas of making a grave mistake by launching this attack. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, however, declared Israel's determination to win this war. To manage the situation, Israel's Ministry of Education has decided to close kindergartens and schools nationwide, while Gaza's Ministry of Health has appealed for blood donations. As of now, in the Israeli-Palestine conflict, the situation remains exceptionally volatile, and several significant developments have already unfolded before the international community. Let's delve into these major developments one by one. First and foremost, the capture of Israeli commander Nimrod Aloni, a prominent figure in Israel's Depth Corps, by Hamas sent shockwaves throughout the region. However, the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, immediately issued a statement in Persian denying Aloni's capture. Simultaneously, the Israeli National Security Council has greenlit ground operations in the Gaza Strip, more fraught with the potential for increased conflict and casualties. Moreover, there are unconfirmed reports of Lebanon's Hezbollah possibly entering the conflict. This is something that raises concerns about the conflict expanding beyond its current boundaries. Hamas commander Salah al-Arori has laid out the group's stance and actions, claiming to possess information that could secure the release of all Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. He asserted that Hamas has intelligence indicating Israelis' preparations for aggression against Gaza and the West Bank, along with the capture of senior Israeli officers. Al-Arori emphasized that enemy forces entering Gaza would be the optimal scenario for the resistance, characterizing this as more than a hit-and-run operation, but an all-out battle to secure freedom for holy sites and the Palestinian people. Sadly, the death toll continues to rise, with Gaza reporting 198 casualties and over 1,600 wounded individuals, according to Palestinian health sources. In Israel, the death count stands at 100, with 1,000 injuries reported by Israeli radio. The situation grows even more complex with Hezbollah's readiness to engage. Hezbollah, the Lebanese group, has declared full combat readiness to attack Israel, as reported by local sources familiar with the situation. There are also reports of clashes between Hezbollah and Israeli forces, with initial accounts suggesting Israeli forces engaging Hezbollah forces massing along the Lebanon-Israeli border. The international community is also playing a significant role in the evolving conflict. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has accused Iran of backing Hamas terrorists behind the attacks on Israel, linking Iran's funding to the Biden administration's policies, which he characterized as lenient on Iran. However, media reports of Iranian links to the conflict, while expected, have not been definitively confirmed. Iranian officials have expressed support for Palestinian fighters. An Iranian advisor has affirmed Iran's commitment to stand by the Palestinians until the liberation of Palestine and Jerusalem. Surprisingly, Saudi Arabia has officially held Israel responsible for the conflict, citing Israel's provocations and the deprivation of Palestinian rights. Brazil's foreign minister has announced its decision to call for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council in response to the largest attack on Israel in years. Brazil currently holds the rotating presidency of the UN Security Council and has strongly condemned the recent attacks and expressed solidarity with Israel through an official statement. Many nations, including Germany, Britain, Belgium, Greece, and many other European countries, have condemned deadly attacks by Hamas. President Joe Biden has criticized the Palestinian attack and assured their backing for Israel. In a released statement, President Joe Biden said, "After talking with Prime Minister Netanyahu, I conveyed our readiness to provide any necessary assistance to Israel's government and its people." He further said, "Israel has a right to defend itself and its people. The United States warns against any other party hostile to Israel seeking advantage in this situation." As the Israel-Hamas conflict escalates, Gaza has become the focal point of heavy Israeli airstrikes. Hamas spokesperson Khaled Qadami has called for international intervention, citing atrocities against the Palestinian people and holy sites like Al-Aqsa as the motivation for their actions. Meanwhile, Mohammed Deif, the Hamas military commander, has described this battle as an effort to end the last occupation on earth. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has called upon citizens to unite and outline the army's goals in this conflict. These objectives include cleansing area infiltrated by enemy forces, restoring security, and exacting a significant toll on the enemy, both in Gaza and elsewhere. Israel also vowed to reinforce its frontiers to discourage others from joining the conflict. However, reports on the ground suggest that regaining control of locations attacked by Hamas is proving difficult by the Israeli army. Residents in southern Israel find themselves in shelters without the presence of Israeli security forces or medical personnel. When Hamas launched attacks on Israel and entered Israeli territory, Israel declared a state of war for the first time since 1973. Prime Minister Netanyahu stated that Israel is in a state of war, not just an operation or escalation. In a video statement, Netanyahu said, "Our enemy will pay a price the type of which it has never known." Airstrikes continue from both sides, and Hamas fighters engage Israeli soldiers in Israeli towns. Palestinian bulldozers have dismantled a part of the fence separating Gaza and Israel, which has enabled Palestinian citizens and militants to enter Israeli territory. Palestinian forces reportedly attempted to capture Nekevat, which is a location situated 9 miles from Gaza. In response to the Hamas attacks, Israel has initiated Operation Iron Sword, which aims to escalate actions on the northern front, Lebanon, and the Gaza Strip. Tens of thousands of Israelis are set to be drafted, with 10,000 reservists called up for the operation. Tragically, Ophir Lepstein, the head of the Shahar Hangev Regional Council, has lost his life during the confrontation with Hamas. Israel's defense minister expresses confidence in Israel's victory in the war. Hamas states that the priority of their operation is to protect Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, prevent the Judaization of these sites, and thwart plans to build a third Temple of Solomon near Al-Aqsa. Hamas spokesperson Khaled Qadami said the operation is a response to decades of atrocities against Palestinians. Regarding questions about whether Hamas has taken Israeli soldiers and civilians hostage, Qadami argued that they are not hostages but prisoners of war, as international law classifies Israeli settlers as invaders. Reports from Israeli News 12 suggest that this conflict might serve as a distraction before a full-scale war with Lebanon or Syria in the north. Israel retaliates with airstrikes, leading to the destruction of buildings in Palestine. Currently, Hamas members control 3 villages and are present in 7. Palestinian President Mohammed Abbas has affirmed the Palestinian people's rights to defend themselves against settler terror and occupation troops.